Success is not a stroke of luck. It is not a gift from the universe, nor is it handed out to the deserving. Success is seized, carved from discomfort, forged in fire, and paid for in full by those who refuse to be denied. Most people dream, a few plan, but only the ruthlessly committed execute until completion. This world doesn't reward the talented. It doesn't reward the well-meaning. It rewards the relentless. The ones who move forward when nothing makes sense, when it's 3 a.m. and everyone else is asleep, when the odds are a joke and the failures are real, that's who success bows to. Commitment is not a feeling. It is not a burst of inspiration at midnight. It is not a mood that visits you when life feels good. Commitment is a contract, signed with your actions, backed by your discipline, and proven every single time you don't want to keep going, but do anyway. Most people commit with their mouths. The truly committed, they commit with their lives. You say you want success, then commit beyond comfort. Commit beyond motivation. Commit beyond results. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times to create the electric light. Most people quit at 10. He was ruthlessly committed to a vision he hadn't even seen work yet. Because commitment doesn't wait for confirmation. Commitment creates confirmation. Your greatest obstacle is not the world outside you. It's the war happening inside your mind. Doubt, fear, excuses. They are the real enemies. And every day you choose, will I be ruled by emotion or driven by mission? Will I let comfort seduce me, or will I let vision consume me? Most people are casually interested in growth, but if you're casually interested, you'll casually fail. To win, your mind must become a weapon, sharpened daily by what you feed it, what you focus on, and what you tolerate. You must become ruthless about your standards, because the mind that bends for every impulse will break under pressure, and life will apply pressure. Success requires a mental fortitude the world won't understand. It means saying no when the crowd says yes. It means staying focused when your friends chase distraction. It means holding the line when your emotions beg you to drop it all. That is the battlefield. And if you do not dominate it, you will be defeated by it. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It wasn't poetic, it was prophetic. Belief is not optimism. It's not positive thinking. It is power. It is the fuel that drives action when logic tells you to turn back. No one believed in Ford when he said he'd build a self-propelled car. No one believed in Disney when he saw a theme park in a swamp. No one believed in Hill when he spent 20 years decoding the invisible laws of wealth. But they didn't need anyone to believe. They needed themselves, because belief doesn't come from evidence. Belief produces evidence. When you believe with depth, with obsession, with relentless certainty, you start moving like a person the universe can't ignore. You speak different. You walk different. You work different. You don't knock politely on the door of success. You kick it off the hinges and walk in with purpose. The mind will not die for a vague goal. It will not suffer for some day. But it will endure any pain for a clear purpose. If you don't know exactly what you want, don't expect to be handed what you need. Clarity is power. Clarity is momentum. You don't stumble into greatness. You see it, you feel it. You build it in your imagination first, then brick by brick with your decisions. If you can't picture your dream with precision, how can you pursue it with passion? Be bold enough to declare it. Be daring enough to write it down. Be disciplined enough to work toward it like a warrior on a mission, not a tourist on vacation. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't say, I have a loose plan. He said, I have a dream. A clear, defiant, powerful dream that reshaped history. Clarity is what turns speeches into movements and dreams into revolutions. You want a revolution in your own life? Then get ruthlessly clear. What do you really want? Not what sounds good, not what looks good on Instagram. What makes your soul ache until it becomes real? That's your target. Lock in, burn the map. Chase nothing else. The road to success is paved with abandoned pleasures, because every time you say yes to your higher self, you must say no to comfort. Pleasure is a trap disguised as reward. Discipline is pain disguised as freedom. The committed don't chase dopamine. They chase impact. They chase legacy. They chase alignment. Pleasure makes you feel good in the moment. Purpose makes you proud for a lifetime. It means waking up early when your body says 5 more minutes. It means skipping the party when your dream is whispering, not yet. It means doing the hard thing again and again and again. Because you understand success is not about how you feel. It's about how you finish. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you say you want to be. Not dreams, not vision boards, not a lucky break. Discipline. And discipline is not about being in the mood. It's about honoring the mission regardless of the mood. It's doing what must be done, even when every excuse lines up like an army ready to justify your failure. The average person is a slave to feeling. The exceptional person becomes a master of follow-through. You think Michael Jordan trained because he was always excited too? You think Oprah built an empire because she felt motivated every morning? You think Carnegie, who worked 16-hour days in steel mills as a boy, felt inspired to rise? No, they were disciplined. They weren't hoping for excellence. They were becoming it. Discipline is boring. It is repetitive. It is brutal at times. But so is being broke. So is being average. So is waking up one day knowing you could have done more. I've been more. Become more. And here's the truth you must swallow. If you can't obey your own standards, don't expect the world to hand you success. We live in a world hypnotized by talk. People post goals. They read about success. They listen to podcasts, nodding in agreement, imagining greatness as if it were a movie playing behind their eyes. But the only thing that separates the wishers from the winners is action. Massive, relentless, uncomfortable action. Ideas are everywhere. Execution is rare. You think your dream is waiting? It's not. It's dying. Slowly. Every time you overthink, hesitate, or wait for the right time, there is no right time. There is only now. And you know what builds confidence. Not quotes, not motivation. Momentum. When you act in spite of fear, you steal power from it. When you act in spite of failure, you weaken its grip. And when you act in spite of imperfection, you grow into your greatness. Every day you delay, your dream decays. But every day you move, you breathe life back into it. You want to win? Then get to work. Silently, repetitively, relentlessly, until results start speaking louder than your excuses ever did. Now listen closely. This isn't just about grind. There's a secret fuel most high performers miss. Gratitude. But not the soft kind. Not the fluffy thank you whispered before bed. I'm talking about the raw gratitude that comes from knowing you were given a chance to live, and that chance won't last forever. Gratitude is what reminds you to fight for your vision, not just work for it. Because when you truly grasp that your time is limited, you stop wasting it. You stop complaining. You stop blaming. You stop looking outside for what must be built within. Abraham Lincoln buried his dreams in 100 failures before he ever stepped into greatness. But through it all, he carried a quiet thankfulness for the pain, the rejection, the uphill climb, because it meant he still had a mountain to climb. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs and purpose in your bones is a day someone else didn't get. And you're going to throw that away for laziness, for comfort, for scrolling? No, not you, not anymore. From this moment forward, let gratitude become your inner fire, not just for what you have, but for what you can still become. Success isn't a straight line. It's a battlefield with shifting terrain. And if you're not adaptable, you're obsolete. The world doesn't care how talented you used to be. It only cares if you can pivot when the path changes. Adaptability is not weakness. It is the weapon of champions. When Henry Ford doubled down on mass production while others clung to tradition, he changed the world. When Walt Disney was told his ideas were too childish and got fired from a newspaper, he reinvented himself again and again until he built an empire. Change isn't your enemy. Fear of change is... When life breaks your plan, it's not a curse. It's a question. Can you evolve or will you evaporate? You must become like water. Fluid, fierce, forward-moving. You may not control the storm, but you control how you sail through it. And let me be clear, adaptability doesn't mean giving up your vision. It means changing your strategy to protect it. There will be days where your progress feels invisible, where your faith feels fake, where everything you've built looks fragile. Good. Because that's where the real ones are made. Resilience isn't glamorous. It's not something people see on Instagram. It happens in the dark, in the doubt, in the silence between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the voice that whispers, keep going, when everything in you is screaming, just quit. Most people break when it gets hard, but not the ruthlessly committed. They bend, they bleed, but they do not break your ability to rise when everything falls apart. That's the proof, not of talent, not of luck, but of unshakable purpose. The world remembers the resilient, not because they were perfect, but because they refused to die with their dreams still inside them. Growth-minded people don't just consume information. They weaponize it. They study the masters. They learn from mistakes, especially their own. They do not seek comfort in knowing. They seek power in applying. Napoleon Hill spent 2 decades interviewing the most successful men in the world. Carnegie, Edison, Rockefeller, not to admire them, but to decode them. To understand that success is not about guessing right, it's about thinking right. And thinking right begins with learning relentlessly. Not for applause, not for degrees, but because the mind is the only tool that doesn't rust with use. It sharpens, it strengthens, it expands. Ignorance is the enemy. Not just the lack of facts, but the arrogance of thinking you already know enough. If you want to lead, to build, to become, you must stay a student, especially of yourself. And in that mirror, every day you must ask, what am I still blind to? What must I unlearn to rise? The moment you take full ownership of your life, you become unstoppable. Not partial ownership, not when it's convenient, not when things go your way. Full, radical, no excuse ownership. No more blaming the past. No more waiting for permission. No more outsourcing your future to someone else's approval. The day you look in the mirror and say, if it is to be, it is up to me, everything begins to shift. Because ownership is where transformation starts. You cannot change what you won't claim responsibility for. And you will never rise above a life you keep disowning. People want control, but they run from accountability. They want success, but they dodge the weight of self-honesty. You cannot have both. You either carry your excuses or you carry your dream. But your hands can't hold both. The people who build legacies, Carnegie, Jobs, Mandela, they didn't make excuses. They made moves. They took hits. They adjusted. And most importantly, they took ownership of every single brick they laid. If it failed, they owned it. If it worked, they pushed further. That's what builders do. That's what winners do. And while you're taking ownership, don't underestimate your environment. Because you can have $1 million mindset, but if you surround yourself with small minds, your fire will die in the cold. Who you listen to matters. What you tolerate matters. If your circle doesn't push you to level up, you don't have a circle. You have a cage. Most people stay stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they're addicted to comfort disguised as community. Understand this. Growth will often feel like isolation before it feels like elevation. You will outgrow conversations, habits, even relationships that once felt like home. That's not disloyalty. That's evolution. And you can't evolve while clinging to the version of you that's attached to validation. You must be willing to be misunderstood in the pursuit of mastery. You must be okay walking alone until you find the few who are running toward greatness too. If you want to change your life, you must protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. We live in a world engineered to steal your attention. Every beep, every buzz, every scroll, distractions wrapped in dopamine, designed to keep you broke, distracted, and dreaming small. The most dangerous thing in the world isn't failure, it's divided focus. Because what you don't master will master you. What you don't direct will drift. And in drifting, you lose your edge, your energy, your mission. Focus is not just about saying yes, it's about saying no, ruthlessly, relentlessly, repeatedly. Say no to anything that doesn't build your future. Say no to anything that costs your peace. Say no to anything that delays your destiny. There is power in stillness. There is power in being unavailable to what no longer serves you. The world will try to sell you urgency for things that don't matter. You must be bold enough to slow down, to silence the noise, and to listen to what your future is asking from you. Most won't. But the committed do. You will have to fight for your focus, fight for your mind, fight for your dream. Every single day. And some days you'll win, some days you'll fall. But what matters is you rise faster than you fall, that you refuse to stay down, that you get up with more conviction than the last time. There is a breaking point in every journey when everything in you says stop, when no one is clapping, when the wins are rare and the doubts are loud. That's when most turn back. That's when average gets chosen, but not you. You have something they don't. You have the unshakable, unbreakable fire of the ruthlessly committed. You didn't come this far to quit. You didn't sacrifice, suffer, and stretch just to go home empty. You came to conquer. And to conquer, you must become someone new. You must shed who you were to step into who you must become. The old version of you was built for survival. This next version, it's built for dominance, for impact, for legacy. You're not chasing dreams anymore. You're building them. You're not hoping for change. You're becoming the force that makes change unavoidable. That's the energy you bring now. That's the standard. Because here's what they won't tell you. Transformation is not a moment. It's not fireworks. It's not an Instagram reel with music behind it. It's a decision. 1,000 silent, unseen decisions made in the dark when no one is watching. You become powerful the moment you keep promises to yourself. When you say you'll wake up early and you do. When you say you'll show up with excellence and you do. When you say you'll grind, you'll grow, you'll go all in, and you do. That's how confidence is built. That's how leaders are born. You are not here to dabble. You are not here to audition. You are not here to see how it goes. You are here to win, and winning is not an event. It's a mindset, a pattern, a habit of high performance repeated until it becomes identity. So build your identity with intention. You want to be wealthy? Think like the wealthy. Move like the wealthy. Sacrifice like the wealthy. You want to be great? Then bleed for greatness. Live for greatness. Sacrifice comfort for greatness. Because in the end, life is not asking for your preferences. It's asking for your decision. Will you rise or will you rot in the safety of your excuses? That choice is yours, and it is made moment by moment. You were not born to live in hesitation. You were not built to tiptoe through life hoping you avoid failure. You were built to rise, to fall, to rise again. You were built for intensity, for purpose, for relentless movement. You were born with fire in your bones, but the world taught you to quiet it, taught you to fit in, taught you to shrink in the name of being accepted. But acceptance will never fulfill you if it costs your authenticity. Greatness doesn't come from being liked. Greatness comes from being true to yourself, to your calling, to the uncomfortable truth that you were made for more and that more requires sacrifice. This is not about becoming someone else. It's about unbecoming everything that is no longer aligned with who you truly are. Stripping away the fear, burning the excuses, letting go of the lies that tell you you're not ready. You are ready. You've always been ready. But readiness doesn't show up as comfort, it shows up as courage. Courage to take the first step when no one claps. Courage to speak your vision when no one understands. Courage to keep going when the mountain looks endless. If you don't believe you're the one, you will spend your life waiting for someone who is. You are the one who breaks the chain, the one who rewrites the script, the one who takes all the pain, all the setbacks, all the silence, and builds something immortal from it. Success will not come whispering. It comes like a storm, loud, fast, and unforgiving to the unprepared. That's why your habits matter. That's why your routines matter. That's why how you do anything is how you do everything. Every morning is a test, and the ruthless pass it before the sun comes up, because how you rise is how you reign. Winners don't wake up to their alarm. They wake up to their standard, and you don't need $1 million business to live at that standard. You don't need followers or fame. What you need is resolve, that today I will do what I said I would do, that today I will earn my own respect, that today I will make deposits into the future I refuse to abandon. This is not a game. This is not motivational theater. This is your life. One shot, no reruns, no rewrites. Every day is a blank page, and you're either writing your legend or erasing your name from history. There's no middle. Comfort will try to convince you there is, but comfort is the enemy dressed in silk. It wraps around you slowly until you forget what it felt like to burn. But deep down, you know that fire is still there. You feel it when you lie in bed and wonder what you could have done. You feel it when you see someone else win, and it stings, not because they don't deserve it, but because you know you've been playing small. You feel it in your gut, in your chest, in the silence between distractions, the truth that will never leave you alone. You were meant for more. That fire is your proof, that whisper inside you, that's your destiny. And if you ignore it long enough, it will become pain. But if you follow it, it will become power. There is a reason mediocrity is crowded and greatness is lonely, because most people aren't willing to pay the price. But here's what they don't see. Greatness isn't just for the gifted. It's not for the chosen. It's for the relentless. The ones who choose it again and again and again, no matter the rejection, no matter the delay, no matter the failure. Do you think Steve Jobs didn't feel doubt? Do you think Muhammad Ali didn't question himself at 5 a.m. when his body begged for rest? Do you think Beethoven didn't hear the voice that said, "You're going deaf, give up"? They all heard it. But the committed talked back. The committed spoke louder than their fear, louder than the critics, louder than the limitations. And that voice, that inner defiance, became their freedom. So what are you saying to yourself? Because your words are planting seeds, and one day you will eat the fruit of what you've been feeding your mind. Make sure it's not bitterness. Make sure it's not regret. Make sure it's strength. Speak power. Live power. Choose power. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming, and votes are cast when no one is watching. In the quiet, in the discipline, in the decision to turn pain into fuel and pressure into diamonds. You don't need motivation. You need a standard. You don't need cheerleaders. You need conviction. You don't need another sign. You need a decision. Because there is a version of you that already has everything you want. But that version will cost you everything you are not willing to give yet. Your laziness, your distractions, your indecision, your fear, it all must burn so that something greater can rise. And yes, it will be hard. And yes, it will hurt. But you are not here for easy. You are here for elevation. You are here to become someone no one thought you could become, including you. That is the real goal. Not just more money, not just more status, but more mastery, more alignment, more integrity, more fire. And when you live like that, when you move with that kind of power, you don't just chase success, you attract it. Because success is drawn to the rare, to the focused, to the obsessed, to the ruthlessly committed. It's your time. It's your time to step out of the shadows of doubt and claim the spotlight of your own becoming. You were not made to wait for the world's permission, nor were you crafted to settle for crumbs from someone else's table. You were born to feast at the banquet of greatness, but the seat won't be handed to you. You must take it. This world honors action, not intention, not plans on paper, not fleeting hopes whispered in the dark. It honors the warriors who dare to rise when the odds are stacked, who dare to keep pushing when the whole world says stop, who dare to walk the lonely path because they believe the destination is worth it. And that belief, that unwavering, unbreakable belief, is your foundation. It's the spark in Edison's relentless nights, the fire behind Lincoln's unwavering resolve, the pulse in Disney's visionary dreams. Those giants were not born with a silver spoon, but they forged their own destiny through unyielding belief in what could be. Belief is not passive. It's not a quiet hope. It's a raging force that demands you act, demands you fight, demands you become. It pulls you forward when your legs are weak. It whispers in your ear when doubt screams in your mind. It says, this is your story. Write it with courage. But belief without clarity is like a ship without a compass. You need vision, a clear, burning vision that guides you through storms and distractions. Vision is the lens that sharpens your focus and fuels your discipline. It's the difference between wandering aimlessly and charging with intent. Imagine Henry Ford building the assembly line not because it was easy, but because he saw a future where cars would be accessible to the masses. Imagine Carnegie building steel empires while the world doubted the value of his vision. Vision turns impossible into inevitable. And clarity means ruthlessly cutting through the noise, the opinions, the doubts, the shoulds imposed by others. Clarity means saying no to what drains you and yes to what elevates you. It means making your purpose so vivid, so undeniable, that it becomes your anchor in chaos. Purpose is the heartbeat of resilience. When you're anchored in purpose, setbacks become lessons, pain becomes fuel, and every no is a redirection toward your yes. Purpose is the secret weapon that allows you to rise again and again, even when everything inside screams quit. Discipline then becomes the muscle that flexes your vision into reality. Discipline is not about harshness. It's about love for your future self. It's the quiet choices you make when no one is watching. Choosing the hard path today for the victory tomorrow. Discipline turns dreams into schedules, ideas into habits, intentions into results. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Without action, even the clearest vision remains a ghost in your mind. But action, relentless action, turns the invisible into the visible. It transforms the impossible into the inevitable. Every step forward is a declaration, a refusal to settle for less. It's the voice that says, I will not be stopped. I will not be broken. I will win. Gratitude grounds you in the present while fueling your future. It's the lens that shows you what you have, even in struggle. Gratitude breeds humility and reminds you that success is never a solo journey. It connects you to something greater, to the people who lift you, the lessons that shape you, the opportunities that grace you. Adaptability is your survival instinct in a changing world. The greatest minds, from Edison to Tesla, weren't rigid in their paths. They bent, they learned, they innovated. You must be willing to evolve, to shed old methods, and to embrace the uncomfortable unknown. Because rigidity breaks. Adaptability breaks through. Resilience is the armor you wear in battle. It's the inner steel forged from every failure, every rejection, every moment you chose to stand instead of fall. Resilience whispers, you are stronger than your storm. Learning is the fuel that keeps your fire alive. The most successful never stop seeking, growing, and refining. Knowledge without action is useless, but action without growth is reckless. Become a lifelong student of your craft, your mind, and your purpose. This journey is not for the faint-hearted. It demands your soul, your sweat, your sacrifice. It demands you rise when others fall. It demands you hold the line when chaos calls. It demands you believe when doubt is loudest. Because here's the ultimate truth. Success is reserved for the ruthlessly committed, not the lucky, not the entitled, not the comfortable, but for the warriors, the dreamers, the relentless souls who refuse to quit until the impossible bows to their will. So rise now, burn with purpose, move with discipline, fight with faith, because your destiny is waiting and it belongs to those who refuse to stop chasing it. You are standing at the edge of everything you want and everything you fear. This is the crossroads where legends are born, not from ease, but from relentless choice. The choice to move forward when the world tells you to stop. The choice to fight harder when your body begs for rest. The choice to believe deeper when doubt threatens to drown your vision. This moment, right here, right now, is your proving ground. Look around. The voices of fear, failure, and distraction are loud. They scream for you to settle, to pause, to give up. But those voices are not your own. They are echoes of a world designed to keep you small, safe, and silent. But you are not made for silence. You are made for roar. You are the author of your story, and the pen is in your hands. The pages won't write themselves. Your destiny will not wait patiently while you hesitate. The universe rewards boldness, not perfection, not readiness, but boldness. So rise. Rise with everything you've got. Rise with the fierce fire of Edison, who refused to stop after thousands of failures. Rise with the unwavering spirit of Lincoln, who held a nation together through unimaginable storms. Rise with the vision of Carnegie, who saw steel where others saw only dirt. Let their stories remind you every giant started as a beginner. Every master was once an apprentice. Every legacy was once a decision, and your legacy is waiting for you to claim it. Success is not a gift. It's not luck. It's a battlefield. And only those who are ruthlessly committed, who will pay the price, fight the fight and walk through the fire, will stand victorious on the other side. So make no mistake, this life will test you, it will challenge you, it will break you if you let it, but it will also make you if you stand firm, if you hold fast, if you refuse to quit. Because in the end, the only thing separating the person you are from the person you want to be is the level of your commitment. Not talent, not opportunity, not time. Commitment. Commitment to wake up earlier than everyone else. Commitment to do the work when no one is watching. Commitment to believe when the world doubts. Commitment to never stop. Your time is now. Your fire is real. Your purpose is undeniable. So go all in. Fight with everything you have. Burn the bridges to your old life and build the future you've always dreamed of. Because success is reserved for the ruthlessly committed. And you are that commitment made flesh. Now rise.